Did wrestling suck this week? When can we expect MJF back? WWE ticket sales are down. And what's up with Jey Uso? Let's find out together. Welcome to episode 70 of the OverMark Podcast.
All right, boys and girls, welcome back to the OverMark Podcast, episode 70. I'm one half of your co-host, TJ, and as always, I'm joined by the man who once tried to kick a man's ass that thought it was funny to mock the OverMark Podcast. You noticing a trend here with Dave and people insulting it? Well, anyways, it's the Florida man himself, the Florida legend, Dave.
Oh, wow. That's a hell of an intro. Thanks, TJ. Welcome to the show, everybody.
Yeah, well,
Thanks for that.
Well, thanks for joining me like always, Dave, and me joining you, and we're joining each other, and that doesn't sound too good. Yeah, that doesn't sound too great, but I tell you what does sound great. We got an action-packed show today from MJF, his little actor run he might have, to Jey Uso's fall from the main event, and even some bad news for WWE's ticket sales. So if you haven't already, hit that like button and subscribe, and we're going to jump right into this. So we're going to start with our quick review here, and it's a WWE SmackDown, which happened October 31st. And basically, to me, this was just another kind of boring edition of SmackDown, right? It's average, but and I'll say this about WWE.
Below average.
Yeah, I'll say this about WWE all the time. If you like this shit being shot in like really good quality and super well produced and everything looks great, then like this is your show. But if maybe you're not a big fan of shit being shot very well, that there's literally shit, then you're probably not going to like this show very much. What was your high point of this show, Dave?
Well, I guess I just had to pick the Drew and Cody promo there at the end. The show really sucked, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I think so. I actually picked the same thing. There really wasn't too much to really point out on this show. I thought this was probably one of their weaker shows that they put on in a while, and it's kind of sad because, it's like leading into this big, in quotation marks, Saturday night main event. But let's talk about our low points here. What was yours?
Well, looks like it might have been the same as yours. The whole Dragunov versus Frazier. Nobody wants to see this crap. Nobody wants to see this guy. Somebody was confusing him for the chin guy that they had a while back, and they were asking me if it was him, and I'm like, no, that's a different guy.
Yeah, I'm gonna get real with you a little bit and talk about this guy. I know it's kind of unfair, but I don't like the fucking way that this guy looks. He just looks like an asshole to me. Like something about him. He comes out in this robe, and it's just like, dude, you're not Ric Flair. The flare or the robe looks fucking great, man. But beyond that, like, I just feel like they hot-shotted you into that title. I'm not feeling it. And I feel like you could have 1,000 of these matches, and that probably won't change until I see some kind of character work, because that's what WWE is, right? WWE's the character wrestling. AEW's the like hardcore, fast-paced wrestling.
Yeah, that's a fair assessment.
Well, what were our rankings for the show? Because I can go ahead and say that they're the same, right?
Yeah.
They were a 2. they were a 2. This is a shitty episode of wrestling.
I mean, the shit just sucks, man. I don't know what else to say. It just is what it is, fuck it. Not great.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and move on then.
Yeah, let's. Well, that takes us into AEW Collision, which happened on November 1st. We got having to watch AEW be this bad this often is starting to hurt my love for wrestling, I think. Man, it's rough. This shit's not great. Yeah. I don't know, man. Objectively, the show was... We'll get into that later. Anyway, what was your high point, TJ?
I mean, there wasn't really a lot to talk about with what was good on this show, and I think that was Takeshita and Okada defeated Anthony Bowens and Max Caster, and the only thing really that was a highlight there for me, I mean, it's not to say that this was a pretty decent in-ring action, but I feel like Okada just is some kind of dummy in the fucking thing, and I love Takeshita, and Bowens and Caster are alright, but, they just had those failed singles runs, and here we are.
Yep. And my high point was, I guess it's cool to see the Acclaimed back together. We did a lot of episodes where they were both doing their kind of failed singles gimmicks, and we were like, nobody wants to see them broke up. So I guess there's that, right?
I think there is that. We're going to jump into our low points here.
Yeah.
Man, this is Mercedes Moné defeating Olympia. And I know generally we sound like haters when we shit on this show. And if you that's what you want to label us, that's fine. But man, they were moving in slow motion here, man. It was a really weird match. Like, I don't know if that Olympia lady's just, I don't know how old she is, but man, did not bring out the best in both these individual ladies here. I've seen better from both of them.
Yeah. Nice thing that I can say, and respectfully, I have started to notice Mercedes is quite a bit more cheeked up these days than what she used to be.
Good for her.
Yeah, good for everybody, I suppose.
Yeah.
You notice that kind of thing on account of what these gals wear. And I just she got more shape to her than what she used to. She become a woman. I don't know. Maybe she was just younger when we saw her. I don't know. She didn't look. I know this is a weird conversation that is devolving. We're gonna move on.
All right. Well, yeah, you said that you weren't crazy about any of this show, were you?
Oh yeah, that's right. Here we go. I was supposed to say my low point. I got all sidetracked on yours. This show, pretty much the whole thing sucked. Gun to my head, I guess maybe Bandito versus Dorada. I don't really give a fuck about either one of those guys. Man, this shit sucks.
Yeah, it's
what was your ranking, TJ?
It's not
Oh, yeah,
ideal.
go ahead.
Hold on one second here. Had to move your window around a little bit, but yeah, my ranking was actually similar to SmackDown when it was a 2. They were both 2s, and the reason for that being the pacing sucks, the matches, the way that they're set up sucks. It's I don't know what I'm looking forward to on the show. Harley Cameron's always a bright point, but there's just no stars on this show.
Megan Bain. I mean, not that Megan Bain. I mean, nobody. There are no stars on the show. It is what it is. And mine was also a 2. I know we're like the 2 twins lately. I don't know. Somehow this felt like it was a worse show than SmackDown, which was also a 2, but it wasn't bad enough to make this show a 1. I don't know that there's layers of 2. It was not great.
It definitely wasn't. I feel like they've been, I've seen some people say that they're on their best creative year ever, and it's like, man, that's just such a stretch. Like, I don't know how long you've been watching wrestling. I don't know how long you've been watching AEW, but this is nothing close to 2020 and 2021. And I feel like when they were at their creative high point is when they were doing the MJF and Adam Cole thing, and they are far, far removed from anything like that.
Yeah, that's a more than fair assessment.
Well, let's assess something else here. And that's going to be Saturday night's main event. We're going to do our quick review for that. And I feel like this was a night filled with average wrestling. This is probably the best wrestling show all week, but that's not saying much. This show, for a PLE, it wasn't great. And WWE hasn't been putting forth their best effort for a while. And yeah, that's my quick little opinion about that show. And I'm going to have to ask you here, Dave, what was that high point?
Cody versus Drew, I guess. I don't know. I expected this show to kind of be better than what it ended up being, especially some of the other matches, which is what we'll get into. But yeah, I guess Cody versus Drew, is as good a opener match as for a standard PLE as you could ask for, I suppose.
I put the Intercontinental. Right? Yeah, I agree completely. Sorry to jump on you there, but I put the Intercontinental Champion Dominic Mysterio defeating Penta and Rusev in a triple threat match. I felt like this probably had some of the better in-ring work here. Penta always does good. Rusev just kind of there. And Dom really plays his part up well. He does really great. The ending here, it was one of those really convoluted matches, and it kind of reminded me of like an Eddie Guerrero finish. It's just super convoluted. There's multiple points that lead to it, and it's just another cheating match.
But, yeah. That's a accurate description.
Well, I
You
don't.
know, just
I know that's kind of weird. I didn't mean to say cheating match, but another cheap finish is what I meant to say. But yeah. Let's jump to our low point here. And what was yours?
well, it was definitely Jade beating Tiffy. It just, it is what it is. There's nothing that you could say other than that. And the other matches were definitely better, and this is something that you and I have been dreading for a while, but we always knew would come eventually, unless they got rid of her, and obviously they're not gonna.
Yeah. It kind of stinks, and that was my low point too. But it's Jade Cargill just hasn't improved in a while. There's no need to beat a dead horse. I feel like a lot of people feel the same about Jade, and a heel run will only hide that a little bit, which I guess is the ideal thing that they want to do. They want to get their money out of her, but I don't think there's a lot of money in that. And what are they going to do? Have her versus Bianca? I feel like that's so WWE. Like stick the two African American ladies together.
Yeah, of course that's what's gonna happen.
Well, what was your rating for this show?
I gave it a 4. I felt like it was kind of just it wasn't great, but it was not terrible. It's below average, just edging on average.
Yeah, I gave it a 5. It was just an average WWE PLE. Sorry. I feel like they're phoning these in, and they have been for a while, and there's just not really a lot going on here that I can sink my teeth into. And I'm thinking about future matches because we're going into WrestleMania, and it's like, I don't know what I'm looking forward to here.
Not much.
Yeah,
Not
well,
much. I don't think.
this is another terrible week of wrestling here, and this is kind of starting to get depressing because they're on. I feel like both shows are on an all-time low here, at least in the past 5 years. You're muted.
I sure am. I don't know how that happened, but yeah, that's accurate description. And boy, speaking of terrible, we got the news.
Oh no. All right. Well, um, we're going to talk about the fall of Jey Uso here. So, Jey Uso, what's going on with him? He doesn't seem like the same guy. He went from world champion to seemingly disinterested and bored. Let's break down the so-called fall of Jey Uso. Well, Dave, do you think this is kind of like a self-fulfilling prophecy? Like kind of how he didn't improve when they gave him the ball, and it kind of cost him the confidence of the guys in the back once that happened, therefore kind of causing him to get bored when they didn't keep the rocket strapped to him.
Well, maybe he definitely seemed out of sorts, disinterested, uh, lackadaisical, almost verging on maybe intoxicated. I don't know. Um, yeah, something
Uh,
going on with him.
yeah, I mean he ever since I really enjoyed his run with the belt. I thought it was cool. They had that thing that they could pull off with baby faces, and it doesn't happen very often where you feel like they could lose at any moment, but they keep holding on to it. That's kind of a tough thing to pull off, right? But they were doing it. But yeah, ever since he lost it, it's like he got bored. Um, and has this kind of been him the whole time, do you think? And was he just hiding behind that big entrance? Because a lot of people says that's all he was, right? A lot of people felt this way about him the whole time. Do you agree, or has there been a decline?
Um, I think maybe he's just going through a rough patch because he was definitely being entertaining, and he was definitely wrestling better matches than this his whole career. So,
Yeah,
well, what do you think we can expect from Jey Uso heading into WrestleMania season?
I feel like they're going to do the Jimmy J thing. What else would they do? They've kind of been leaning that way, right? Having
Yeah.
them feud
Do you
or getting tensions. I mean, they haven't started feuding yet.
Yeah, it kind of seems like working on it a bit here. Do you think WWE is starting to wonder if they picked the wrong Uso?
Uh, I don't know. That's a pretty tough question. I feel like Jimmy would have been the more reliable pick. I don't know if they had him do the, Drew McIntyre said the only difference between the two is the yeet, one word. I don't know if you would have given Jimmy that thing, it would have worked, but maybe he could have pulled it off the same. I don't know, but Jimmy seems like a completely different character. He seems more normal, not as wild as Jay. Where Jay, who's obviously getting caught doing, with like he keeps getting DUIs and stuff, so he's obviously a partier. And some people,
I think that happened to both of them, didn't it?
maybe it did, I don't know, but I just know that like when you're a partier, sometimes you kind of live and talk the lifestyle a little bit, and I feel like that's definitely apparent in Jay and kind of how he acts. It doesn't feel like he's
Oh no,
playing a character to
it's
me.
Jimmy. It's Jimmy.
It's just Jimmy.
Sorry, Jimmy. Yeah, he's had three of them.
So, oh man, we got it in reverse. So, Jimmy's the one. That's probably the reason why they didn't go with him, because he didn't. Jimmy had all the DUIs and Jay didn't.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, look at where we're at now. Jay's out there wrestling like he's having a DUI.
yeah,
That match was not great. CM Punk did the best that he could.
yeah.
But
You could tell he was getting frustrated. He looked at the ref at one
yep,
point like,
it looked like that there was a point after that messed up neck breaker that he kind of gave him a little bit of a potato kick.
yeah,
I don't know, probably just reading into it too much. But anyway, wow, we're both fans of Jay. We want to see him succeed.
yeah. Nobody's rooting for him to fail. We just want to see that spark come back.
Yeah, let's hope he turns it around. And this time next year, we're talking about how good he's doing. Make sure to drop your thoughts in the comments. What do you like? What do you think is going on with Jay? Yeah,
Well, I'm rooting the best for him, or rooting the best. What the fuck am I talking about? I'm hoping the best for him.
special.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we got the next one that we're going to be talking about here, and that's WWE ticket sales are dropping. What's going on here? So WWE's ticket sales are starting to drop, and there's rumors that management wasn't happy with WWE Saturday Night's ticket performance. Could we be at the beginning of a real decline in WWE attendance? Let's jump into it. So, do you think this is the result of bad creative finally catching up to them?
A little bit. There's definitely some fatigue, storyline fatigue, but I think that beyond that, it's probably a bit more of price fatigue because even through all the bad years when Vince was putting on a relatively crummy product, prior to like 2020 or whatever it was that they kind of started to do better, the attendance was still, they were still selling shit out. If not, it was damn close, 9,000, 10,000, 12,000 people venues. So
There was a
I think
point,
that,
I think in like 2016, where it did start to drop a lot. Do you
yeah,
remember that?
they probably just ran smaller venues to compensate for it. But yeah, they were still probably running like 7,000, 8,000 person venues.
So what you just said kind of leads me into my second question for you. How much do you think the product it's the product itself versus inflated ticket prices or market oversaturation?
Well, it's a combination of all of the things, unfortunately, I hate to keep harping on the ticket price thing, but they have increased the prices exponentially. And, the one dickhead, I can't remember his name, the guy that's in charge of all of the stuff, keeps getting out there and talking about how, they're making record profits and, they think that there's still more room for growth in
I forget
terms
his
of the
name,
price.
but I remember
And
reading
it's like,
that.
what an out of touch dickhead, you know?
Yeah, that he still feels like there's more room for growth in ticket sales. That literally means
Yeah.
just charging people more.
Yeah. And it's like, well, who? Say what you want about Vince, but he remembered that, you know, wrestling is generational, wrestling is a family thing. I watched wrestling with my grandma and went to wrestling events with my dad and my grandma when I was a kid,
He
you
priced it
know.
for families.
Yeah, exactly.
He actually gave the family deals out. Like you get 4 tickets, get a little bit of a deal on it, stuff like that. I mean,
Yeah.
I've never been to WWE event before, but being in Charlotte during the summer when I was a kid, they would come in all the time, and you would actually hear them advertising it because the internet wasn't as big as a thing back in the day with people
Yeah.
buying stuff. They would be advertising family packages like on the radio while I would be at work with my dad. So, I mean, That's what they were all about, trying to get those young buyers in. That way you would have like a lifetime of wrestling fans.
Makes sense. Well, do you think that this dip could snowball through WrestleMania season, or do you think that all that hype's gonna save them for a bit?
That is a pretty good question there. You know, we'll see. If they put on a really, I feel like WrestleMania last year was an obvious decline in quality from the year prior with The Rock being involved. And they didn't have any legends at last year's WrestleMania for the most part. The Rock did come out, right? During at some point, I can't even remember, but I just feel like, compared to a lot of past WrestleManias and even Royal Rumbles, when people have been coming out like last year, there's no big surprises from past guys, and like that's a big thing that WWE has always relied on is nostalgia, and Vince definitely understood that more. But either way, that's a side topic. I think that they're definitely going to get the increase in tickets around WrestleMania season, but will it be down compared to last year if they keep putting on crappy events? 100%.
Yeah. Well, did WWE get lazy because they thought the product was bulletproof, or is this just kind of a thing that happens?
I think that, yeah, I mean, there's definitely always like an up and a down and an even flow and all that. But yeah, they definitely thought that their product was bulletproof. And I think it shows in how lazy the writing is and how stale the product is. Stale's the perfect word, I think, for WWE right now.
Yeah. Well, we've seen this story before. When the product gets stale, the crowd starts shrinking.
Yeah, WrestleMania will mask it for a little bit, but if they don't fix the quality, those seats aren't going to fill themselves, are they?
No, exactly. And well, why don't you let us all know what you think in the comments? And if you enjoy these breakdowns, make sure to like, subscribe, and keep the conversation going.
Yeah, well, let's keep this conversation going here. And we're going to be talking about MJF. He's got some acting gigs going on. That's why he's been out, right? So, what do you think is next for old MJF? So, we've all heard that he's going to be wrapping up filming on his latest acting commitment that he has, right? And that's what he's been up to for the past month and a half. The only bad news here is that I might be lining up more acting gigs to jump right into. So, let's ourselves jump into this and see what that might mean for AEW and MJF. So, one of the things I was wondering here is, do you think AEW is legitimately going to lose MJF to Hollywood? Like, what do you give? What are the chances of that?
Well, I mean, maybe. It seems like he's already been gone quite a bit this year.
What's the big factor?
I don't know.
Money. Would you rather get beat up for a living or act for a living? And either way, if he's making more money in acting, he's going to do that. But if he's like not killing himself he's not dumb. He's a pretty smart guy. He's going to take the easier path, right?
Oh yeah, of course.
I mean, Adam Sandler, he played that part in Happy Gilmore, and I'm sure Adam Sandler kind of is like looking out for him because they're both two successful Jewish men, and I feel like they like to stick together, which there's nothing wrong with that. But we'll see, right? But can AEW even afford to lose him right now? Like, given how much that they need star power and how many people are injured, like, you think Tony will be, like, dying to keep him in there, right?
Yeah, definitely. I would think that he should be, at this point, probably being like, hey, man, show's real bad without you. Got to figure out something here.
Yeah.
I mean, if you guys have listened to our show before, pretty much every time that MJF's on there, that's the high point for both of us almost every time, because the other stuff is so bad by comparison.
Yeah, he brings the interest. His parts of the show are different. His interactions with people are different. It's just all around always the best stuff on the show, usually for me and you. But let's go ahead and move on.
Well, what do you think the chances are that these acting roles dry up quick? It does happen a lot, a couple small roles and then nothing else.
I think that's realistic, but I mean, it would just be me guessing either way. But I think that's probably the most likely outcome. He gets to explore acting for a little bit. And that's not to say that some more gigs won't come up in the future once he maybe proves in these roles here that he can act. But I think short term, he does acting for a little bit, gets his toes wet, and then goes back and wrestles for a while, and will probably maybe even build his star there even more if that's possible for him to do in AEW.
Yeah. Well, could this be the start of MJF transitioning into a crossover name like Cena or The Rock, or is you think that he's just leaving AEW hanging at kind of a shitty time?
I think that he's going to do whatever he wants, and he probably doesn't really care, and Tony's going to let these guys do whatever they want. What's he going to do? Tell somebody no? It doesn't seem like he's done too much of that. And you remember MJF took that big break for a while and obviously got that big pay increase. And who knows if these gigs were something that he had written into his deal. So he might have more control over this than we could think, and it might not matter to him either way legally.
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
Yeah. Well, I think we both kind of think this really stinks, though, because he's one of the only highlights on the show, on any other episode of television, whether it's Collision, Dynamite, or a pay-per-view. But, I mean, can you blame the guy? Are you going to get beat up for millions or act for millions? It's a pretty easy choice.
Yeah, well, here's hoping that this is just temporary and we get MJF back on AEW TV soon. Everybody knows that they need him.
Well, let us know. Do you guys want MJF back ASAP, or could he disappear for all you care? Drop it in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe. And that's going to take us to probably getting on out of here. We got a short one today.
And don't forget to fuck. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm kidding.
Go ahead. What are you telling them to do?
Don't forget to fuck yourself.
Oh shit. Who are you saying that to?
The dickheads out there.
Oh, well, there's plenty of them. Not any you fine people. You find people.
No, not the overmaniacs.
Yeah.
Any of our good listeners here, but the dickheads.
Yeah. I think some of those exist out here in the world, but yeah. So we can wrap up in a second, but we got a couple minutes that we can spare here. So yeah. Monday, man. They're always terrible. What do you think when you wake up on Monday? That alarm hits, so you're like, oh fuck.
Yeah, it's funny. I say this a lot in here during the day when I'm in Discord and I'm driving around and people are like coming in and out and they're like, "Oh, what are you up to, Dave?" And I'm like, same thing that I think of when I get out of bed in the morning. It's like, time to suck the day's dick.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just sucking the day's dick, you guys.
My dad, some days at work, is like, because that's who I work with. We're partners at work. We drive around in that truck and do repairs on commercial roofs. And he's always in a bad mood on Monday. He's just like, man. So, like, not always, but most of the time. So, as the week goes on, he'll be in a better and better mood. So, by Wednesday, he's going to be, like, pretty good. And Thursday, he's going to be like, all right. Like he's in, like, a real good fucking mood then. But,
yeah.
I actually got good sleep Sunday night somehow, leading into Monday night or morning, whatever the fuck it is. And, so that was good. I sleep generally terrible most of the time. Like, I don't think I ever get the deep sleep, and you're tired as fuck the next day. But I was lucky enough not to have that happen this time. You ever deal with that?
Yeah. A lot. The daylight savings time fucked me up this time.
Did it?
Oh yeah. Sunday I woke up at 2:00 in the morning, which would normally have been 3. I just woke up and I was going to go to the bathroom, and I walk out and I look at the microwave as I go by, and it's like 3:13. So it was 2:13. Yeah, right here. I go back to bed, and then I realized it was daylight savings time, and I'm like, oh, it's 2:00. I'm like, oh, okay.
Oh,
and I just couldn't really get back to sleep, so I ended up getting up, playing Ascension.
You want me to tell you your future?
What's that?
So you're going to do heroic, and you're eventually going to finish it. And then everybody's going to want to do mythic. And you're going to go in there, and they're going to piss you off. And then eventually you're going to start bitching at these people again. And then you're going to be a fucking asshole to them. They're going to be like, oh, he's bitching about us playing this game. And then the same exact thing that happens in this game every fucking time is going to reoccur. Because if, let's just say for some reason you do mythic, well, they're going to want to do the Ascended. And that's where,
of course,
this is guaranteed going to be a problem. But let's hope that for some reason you got the 10 people willing to fully commit and play as well as they can, and you don't have to tell anybody that they're dumb as fuck.
Yeah, thankfully the people that are dumb as fuck are A, not listening to this show, and B, not playing this with us. So we don't have to contend with the pet shop, as Carter and I like to colorfully refer to it as. And, Chaboy here is in charge. And I'm not saying that I'm better at being in charge one way or the other, because that's definitely not the case. The people that were in charge prior were definitely better at it than I am. But I have learned from some of the shortcomings that I have observed. And I think that I may potentially be able to avoid some of those. Hopefully, we'll see. Maybe.
Well,
Also, this is just for fun, so it's
yeah.
not. It's a little different than a committed, like, semi-hardcore or whatever the case may be. We'll see.
Well, I'm wondering when we're gonna get a commitment to some other version of WoW coming out that's gonna be like the next big version that they make, and everybody's gonna want to jump over there. When's that?
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
Isn't BlizzCon right down the road? When's that happening?
Um,
Did they
let's
cancel it?
look real fast. We got time. I don't think it's
I,
happening
I'm
this
looking
this
it up.
time.
Is there gonna be a BlizzCon? Nope, not happening.
It will return September 12th and 13th, 2026. Okay.
Huh?
Well, uh, there's not really a lot of shit for them to announce this year. I mean, what are they going to do? World of Warcraft Midnight.
Yeah.
Some kind of World of Warcraft classic. We're coming out with Warlords of Draenor classic that nobody wants to play for you to play after Mop classic, which even, just whatever. We're not even going to get into it. This has been a fun short show, and I'm going to say my final piece. Thanks for the show, TJ. This was fun. And everybody have a nice day, and we'll see you in a few days.
Yeah. What's it gonna be then? Raw and Dynamite.
Yeah,
Yeah, we'll be
it
back
just might.
Friday, and that's what we'll be talking
No,
about.
you'll be gone Friday.
No, that's next Friday.
Oh,
Yeah, so
okay.
so next
Okay.
Friday, I feel like we'll record Wednesday, and maybe if possible, if you're still up, we'll just try to watch Dynamite and then just record our that, and I can clip it in front, and then I will just get it all out that night. That way,
Okay.
there's nothing that has to change, and then I'll just schedule it for Friday, and nothing has to be lost out.
Perfect. Sounds good to me.
And if you want, we can record the rest of the show prior to Dynamite. That way, we only have to record a little fucking 5 minute clip after the show.
By the way, for
Yeah.
first time actually wearing the AEW CM Punk shirt.
I thought you wore that one on the show once.
Did I?
I feel like you did.
I thought that was a different one. You know what? You might be right. So
You
this will
busted
be the
both of
second
them out.
time that I've wore it. Wanted to give him some props because he won the belt, and he never lost this belt, so technically he is the champ.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I'm looking forward to seeing what he does tonight. You gonna have it on while you're raiding?
Oh yeah. We're gonna be killing that big jerk Hakar, and I'm gonna have that on in the background loud enough so that it's coming in on the microphone, so that the
Oh
folks in
hell yeah,
Discord know what I'm watching.
that's funny. Kind of like
Hell
Murdy,
yeah.
and whatever the fuck he's got going on all the time.
His icing and his clinking and his anything.
Yeah,
I think if we used these mics instead of our, spoiler alert, everybody, we don't always use our fancy
yeah,
mics. We have I got a HyperX Cloud 2 that I use for gaming. I've been using this since 2019. As you can see, it's starting to get a little beat up here, but you know, it's a 6-year-old headset that works flawlessly. You change out your earpad things. You get them off of Amazon for like 10 or 12 bucks. Boom.
yeah. I replaced the ones on mine. I've been using mine for about, I think I'm like 5, 6 years on it. But
Yeah.
one thing before we get out of here and I say bye. Prayers to DP. It sounds like he's going through a really rough time right now,
Yeah.
and it sounds like he's in denial, and it's a slippery slope, brother.
Yeah. I like how he keeps trying to tell us things that like we know that like aren't things, and it's like, dog, come on now.
Well, you
You
like
know,
how when he was talking about his like grandma and something. He's like, I have another thing on my plate. And it's like, oh no, not that.
I know that. I know that sound real well.
Save here. I've been around that my entire life. But
well, as long as we keep getting him and holding him accountable, well, nothing's going to change. He's going to do whatever the fuck he wants anyway. Anyway, that's a topic for a different channel and a different show. Thanks everybody for joining us.
At OverMark
appreciate the Overmaniacs out in Overmania land. Overmania. Yeah, be Overmania.
Do the social media call.
Follow us at OverMark ENT on all of your social medias that you like.
Yes, and we'll do something on them at some point. Thanks for listening, guys. I'm signing off. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you, Dive. Yeah, I appreciate you, Dave. And you guys have a good night.